Okay, the reason we're here today is to learn about safe ways for your new baby to sleep, to keep it safe. Every year, there's a certain number of babies that die mysteriously when they're anywhere from newborn to 18 months old. And we don't know exactly why that is. They call that SIDS, Sudden Infant Death Syndrome. And it turns out that some babies just die, but they didn't have a heart attack, they didn't have some other problem, and they did research to try to find out why these babies might die, and they found that babies that co-sleep, that means they sleep with someone else, are more likely for this to happen to. And the reason for that is because if you are sleeping with your husband or your wife and they turn over and their arm goes over your mouth, you will push them away and say, "Move over, I can't breathe." But a little baby doesn't know to do that. So if your baby is sleeping with you and you roll over and put your arm over the baby's face, or your pillow goes over the baby's face, the baby doesn't know to turn its head or to push you away to get breath, and therefore your baby can die. It can stop breathing. So they said, what can we do to prevent this from happening? And they determined that if they give beds to babies that might not otherwise, families might not be able to afford them, and their baby can sleep alone in the baby bed, their baby will be safer and much less likely that they will die of sudden infant death syndrome. So today we're going to learn about how to keep your baby safe, how to set up this bed, which is a gift to you, and how to use it correctly. So now we're going to learn about how to set up the bed properly and to use it safely for your child. You'll see on the outside of the bed is a pocket, and it has an information booklet in it, and the information booklet has instructions on how to set up the bed. So if you get home with your new bed and you can't remember what step you do first to set it up, you can review the illustrations in here. Also, there is a form which we will fill out with your name and address on it, and we will mail that to the manufacturer who made the beds. That way they know that you have one of these beds, and if for some reason there should be a problem with the bed and they need to recall or warn you about using the bed, they will know who has the bed and they can contact you about that safety information. I have to say, we've used these beds at least for the last 3 years, and I have never had a person have a problem with the bed. The only problem would be if they misuse the bed and they have older children climbing into the bed, it could break the bed. But as far as the bed itself, it's a very secure, safe bed if you use it correctly. Okay, so to set up the bed, it has 2 Velcro tabs, here and here. On the outside of the bed is the mattress. Put this in here now, you can see. And the plaid side is soft, and the bottom side is hard. It has wood in it, and that's the bottom of the mattress. This mattress is soft enough for your baby. You do not need to add any other padding, blankets, or pillows to it to make it softer. It's soft enough, but safe by not being too thick. Okay, this is the bed itself, and you can see on each side there are buttons and then 2 joints. So how we set it up is we're going to, on each of the 4 sides, we're going to open it out and we're going to pop the joint. Pop the joint. Pop the joint and pop the joint so that it is all hard on the top. And the last step is we are going to push down the center. And you can see now the whole bed is firm. Okay? Now, we're going to take the mattress. I'm going to put a sheet on it. This sheet is made specifically for this size bed. It's called a play yard sheet. This is an older one that we have in the office that I'm going to use for demonstration purposes. But I will be giving you with your bed your own sheet, and it has with it the label from the package, which tells you this is called a play yard sheet. It tells you the size of the sheet, and they sell these at Walmart. They come in packages of 2. You might want to pick up some additional sheets. They're inexpensive because babies are dirty and they get things dirty, and while you're washing one sheet, you can put a new clean sheet on. So be sure to use a play yard sheet with these dimensions, not a crib sheet. A crib sheet is too big for this, and if the sheet is too big, it could be dangerous for the baby. The baby could get wrapped up in the sheet and it could cause the baby to not breathe. So here is the mattress now, and I'm going to put it down in the bed. And you can see that it fits it very snugly. It's perfect. No extra space on the side, no sheet hanging out for the baby to get caught in its leg, its arm, or its head. Now, I'm going to ask you, which way does the baby go in the bed? Does the baby go on its back or on its stomach? Well, I'm hoping you're going to answer that the baby goes on its back, because that's how the baby goes in. So I'm going to put the baby in the bed. And what is so great about this bed is you can see that all the sides are very soft. So there's nothing hard for the baby to bang against or hurt itself against. And there's no slats like in a crib that a baby's leg could go out or its arm could go out, or worse yet, its head could go out and it could cause the baby damage, or it could choke the baby. So this is a very safe bed. In addition to being soft, you can see that because it's netting, it's open. So if the baby gets over here, it's open so the baby can breathe. So you do not want to add anything else to this bed, just the baby in the bed. You don't want to add bumper pads, which are those pillows that go around the edge, because that could block the baby from breathing. You do not want to use a pillow with your baby. The bed is soft enough. Babies do not need pillows. If the baby is on a pillow and it rolls off and then rolls this way, the pillow could go over the baby's face and keep it from breathing. So no pillows in the bed, just the baby. Let's say you say, oh, it's cold out. You know, I'm going to cover up the baby so that the baby will be warm. So you put a blanket on this, but you don't want to use a blanket on the baby because the baby moves around, and the blanket could end up either going over the baby's face, or it could get wrapped around the baby's neck and choke the baby. So if it's cold outside or cold inside your apartment, what you want to do is you want to put on additional clothes on the baby. This way the baby's warm, but nothing is covering its face. So you just put on additional layers of clothing. Now, if your family and your cultural practice is used to swaddling a baby, that's wrapping a baby up tightly in a blanket that gets all tucked in, and in Pashto, I think they call it chusne. That is okay because that will not cover the baby's face. But other than that, do not put a blanket in the bed with the baby. So let's say your baby likes a pacifier. It soothes it. It's fine to give a baby a pacifier, no problem. But what you know, babies are constantly taking pacifiers and spitting them out and throwing them down, and they get dirty and you have to pick them up and wash them. So sometimes parents attach the pacifier to a string so that the pacifier doesn't fall on the ground, but then they put the string around the baby's neck. You do not want to have a pacifier on a string around the baby's neck because it could choke the baby. So a pacifier is fine, but no string. That's not safe. Another thing you want to think about is where you're putting the bed within your house. If you have blinds that you pull a string for to raise and lower the blinds, you do not want to put the baby bed next to the blinds because you do not want any dangling strings hanging down that a baby could get wrapped up in or choked with. So don't have it near any place with strings hanging down. You don't want to attach any toys to the crib, a mobile or something that has different toys dangling down for the baby to look at, because anytime there's strings, the baby could get wrapped up in it. Now, let's say the baby gets a little bit older and you want to give the baby a toy to play with. That's fine. You can sit the baby up, give the baby a toy, but when the baby falls back to sleep, you need to take the toy out of the playpen, because otherwise it could go over the baby's face and keep the baby from breathing. When your baby gets bigger, you might want to give it some bigger toys, but we warn you not to give your baby bigger toys, because as the baby gets bigger, it could climb on the toys and fall out and hit its head. So no big toys in the playpen. Now, what's nice about this playpen also is that at one end it has two wheels. So if the baby is in the bedroom and all the family is in another room eating, the bed is small enough that it will go through a normal doorway. You can roll the bed with the baby from one room into another. So that's very helpful. And also, at the other end of the bed, there are two snaps. When you get your bed set up at home, you can snap this on, and then you can keep extra diapers and wipes here so that they're handy to use for your child. But you can put that on at home. All right, this bed is very safe to use until your child reaches 35 inches or 89 centimeters, weighs 30 pounds, or you have, say, a child smaller than that, but your child likes to climb and is a daredevil and is trying to climb to get out of the crib. As soon as your child is either too big for the crib or trying to climb out, it's time to not let your child use that crib anymore, because it's not safe for your child. Let's talk a little bit about how to take care of the crib, the playpen. So if it gets dirty, what you want to do is just wet a cloth with a little soap and water and just rub it lightly to clean it off, or the mattress. You don't want to use any chemicals. You don't want to repaint it. If the screws fall out or the wheel comes off, don't use it. You don't want to put plastic over the mattress to keep the mattress clean, because plastic could get over the baby's mouth and keep the baby from breathing. And finally, you don't want to use any mosquito netting over the top of the thing to keep mosquitoes out, because that could fall down into the crib, and again, the baby could get entangled in it, and it could choke the baby, strangle the baby, keep the baby from breathing. So now we're going to take the bed and close it up. So I'm taking the mattress back out. I'm going to take the sheet off of the mattress. And if you remember, the last step we did when we were setting up the bed was to push the center down. In order to close up the bed, the first step you have to do is to pull the center up. So I'm going to put my hand in, I'm going to grab the ring, and I'm going to pull it up till you hear that noise. Now I'm going to go to each one of these buttons on all the four sides. I'm going to push the button in, and at the same time I'm doing it, I'm going to raise it a little bit up and then get the two joints. Raise it a little bit up and then get the two joints. Raise it up, get the two joints. Oops. And the final side, raise it up and get the two joints. And now you can see Then it goes all together. Now we're going to take again the mattress, and we're going to wrap it around. Close the Velcro. And then you will see there's a handle on one side. I'm going to put your little bag on the outside that you put your diapers and wipes in. Tuck it inside of this. And then we're going to unzip this on the side that has the opening for the handle. Put it in. Zip it up. And voila, you have a carryable baby bed. Now I want to say a few more things about this baby bed, which is, as I said, this is a gift to you. I told you how long you can use it for your child when your child gets to be 35 inches tall, 89 centimeters, 30 pounds, or is able to climb out. So what you want to do is, once your baby has outgrown this baby bed, you don't want to give it away. You want to keep the bed. You can see it's very compact. Put it in a corner, put it in a closet, and save it for your next baby if you're planning on having more children. Because this organization only gives one bed per family, so you need to use it for other pregnancies, other babies in the future. If you are completely finished having children and you've had all the children you want to have, you are welcome to give it to someone else, but do not give it away if you think you're moving to Afghanistan or another country for a while but are planning on coming back. Give it to someone to keep for you, to store for you, because you will only get one bed. All right, and the last thing we need to do is some paperwork with the organization Southwest SIDS Foundation, who has given you the bed. I need to know, we need to fill out your name and address. I need to know whether the mother, the wife, is a homemaker, what your ethnicity is, if you're currently getting Medicaid, if you're currently getting WIC, if you're getting food stamps. Then on the second page, I'm going to need you to initial with your first and last initial. And basically, what this page is saying is that the Southwest SIDS Foundation is giving you this bed. It's a safe bed. It's a reliable bed. But if for some reason your child should get injured while your child is in that bed, you are not going to sue the Southwest SIDS Foundation. So that's what you're writing your signature for on this page. On the second page is about whether you have any more questions about how to use the bed and about safe sleeping. So this says, my signature below acknowledges that I have been given the right to ask questions and receive information, and I have had my questions answered and have received all information requested about this release and acknowledgement. I knowingly and voluntarily sign this acknowledgement. I further acknowledge that volunteers rendering services to me are doing so in reliance on my execution of this release and acknowledgement. So, if I'm going to ask you, do you have any other questions at this time? If you do, be sure to ask that of a volunteer when you come to pick up your bed, and they will answer those for you. And then if no more questions, I'll need you to sign, date, and print your name on this page. The next page is really all the points that we went over during the class. The only other thing that I'm going to raise that wasn't in here is that the bed should be reserved just for the baby. Do not allow other children, oh, the baby's so cute, I want to get in there and play with the baby. Do not allow another child, older, same age or whatever, to climb into the bed with the baby, because if somebody's climbing in the bed from the outside, it could break the bed. That would injure the baby inside and injure the child climbing in. And the only other thing I would add is that it should always be an adult who is setting up the bed, not a child. The final page is going to need your initials on each line, and I need to read you each of these statements. I understand that the creation of a safe sleep environment is important to the life and well-being of my child. I understand that co-sleeping, that's sleeping with someone else, is associated with increased risk of infant death. I understand that appropriate use of the pack and play, this bed, contributes to but does not ensure a safe sleep environment. Because of my current life situation, I'm unable to afford to buy one of these beds for my baby. I will not return this bed to the store for credit or money. I will use this pack and play bed, will not sell it or give it away in exchange for money and services until my baby weighs more than 30 pounds, 14 kilograms, reaches 35 inches, 89 centimeters, or is able to climb out. Now again, if you have completed having your family, you are welcome to give this to another family as a gift, but you may not sell it. And then finally, the last statement is about if you get home and you cannot remember how to set up the bed, to give us a call and we will come to your house and set up the bed for you. And then I need you to print your name, sign your name and address, and I have witnessed it, and I will give you a copy of this to take with you. And that concludes the class.